Hey guys, I'm Sanity, an 11k MMR player and coach. I have coached a lot of students on every role in Dota. This video is going to be about some cool tech on the offlane that you can use to play unplayable matchups. If you are a person who feels that every game the position 4 has no impact and you're losing your lane because of it, then I'll show you a trick which you can use to get farm on the lane even if you don't have a support as an offlaner. This video was inspired by a question from Dota Academy on school.com. In this community, there are two other coaches, Payne and Essen, well known for their videos for both carry and support. This topic has already been discussed in the Academy, where we offer 4 classes per week for every role. All previous classes are recorded and available to watch inside the Academy. And if you gain the highest MMR at the end of the month, you can get one personalized coaching session from any of the 3 coaches. In some matchups, you have to cut creeps, something I do not recommend in the lower brackets because I feel you can simply win any sort of matchups as people aren't very good at casting their spells or last hitting creeps. They will give you openings and you have to play in a hard matchup to learn it before you go on to cutting and manipulating waves. In some cases, when you have a player who doesn't want to play position 4 or simply has a weaker hero, it's very hard to stay 2v1 or even 2v2 on the lane. So your job in these cases is to drag the wave behind your tower or in front of your tower, as your main objective on the lane is to get the lane into your zone, which is near your tower. In unfair matchups, you can't farm near enemy tower as you will get gone on and simply die. And even in the center of the lane, you are still under threat due to the nature of a weak matchup between your position 4 and the enemy position 5, or the forward just not being on the lane at all. So let me demonstrate how you can cut the creeps depending on your hero. If you have a summon hero, for example Lycan, Beastmaster or Prophet, or even Enigma, you can simply drag the wave without any threats just by sending your units behind the tower and dragging the wave all the way behind your tier 1 or in front of your tier 1. Here's how you're supposed to do it. For other heroes, you have to skip 1 to 2 creeps on the first wave to go behind the tier 1 tower. Why is this move very effective? Because most carry heroes are not very mobile. They cannot catch up to you, and when you are dragging creeps, the enemy carry has 2 options. Either he abandons the creep waves and chases you, which is unreliable move, because if he doesn't kill you, he loses 4 creeps, and if he tries to kill you and they have no stuns, you simply TP out. So most carries will try to drag the wave behind their tower as well to cancel it out. But all in all, this is a very good for you because in a lane where you are getting nothing, now you are doing something that is making the enemy react, which is always a good thing. Do remember, cutting creeps is not easy at all against certain heroes. For example, Bane, who can cast Nightmare to stop you from cutting. Pugna can cast Decrypt. Shadow Demon can cast Disruption. So it is not reliable against these heroes. And against Monkey King as a carry or against Phantom Assassin, these heroes are mobile enough as carries to chase you and kill you when you go behind the waves. So try not to do it mindlessly when it comes to these matchups. Try to do it in a way in which there is no risk of you dying. The lane will simply end if you start dying because the enemy will gain a huge lead. You just have to make sure that you survive and you don't die. So even if it isn't possible to drag the wave or to stay on the lane because your position 4 isn't there, just make sure that you're at least doing something. Maybe go to your safer offline camp and farm there, or just try to get experience, or if it's ever an option, then try to cut the creeps. Another thing that I see people struggle a lot with in lower MMR games is that they don't know how to farm as an offlaner. I see them farming 1 wave every single minute. So the best way to farm is to make sure that you're dragging the creeps to the enemy small camp or even to the hard camp and trying to farm them together. What most people think is that their job is to deny creeps and to limit the farm of the enemy carry, but that isn't your job anymore. Your job is to maximize your net worth and get your first power spike item. You will be much more active very early on in the game compared to the enemy carry. So getting your first item is very crucial. If you're not able to get your first item quickly, then you might not be able to give a big impact at the start of the game. So make sure that you're farming and not just denying creeps or farming 1 creep wave or 2 creep waves every minute. You must farm the jungle camps next to the wave. Another cool trick that you can do before the game starts or before the waves meet you can go behind the enemy tier 1 and try to block the wave as much as you can. This can only be done if your matchup is stronger than the enemies, and this is also a place where you can sometimes get first blood because the carry is walking from his tier 2 all the way to tier 1. If you're able to block the entire creep wave while it's walking towards the tier 1 tower, you can now have first wave under your tower, because your creeps are gonna go into the enemy tower and your creeps are gonna die. The enemy's first wave is gonna push into your tower. So only do this when you have a stronger matchup. This depends highly on your position 4 and your offlane hero. Best of luck for your games, and do check out Dota Academy. The link is in the description.